For me, I immediately gravitated toward a story of a young protagonist who's an oddball in his world. There's a great wish fulfillment in the idea that you could go from a nobody to somebody of great consequence, paired with this amazing creature that is not only your best friend and your protector, but something that needs you as well. I just love those sorts of stories where there is a coming together of these two very disparate, a boy and a beast, that for a while have such a deep and meaningful impact on one another's lives that even though they may go their separate ways at the end of this story, they are forever changed.
He is this towering, physically imposing figure with such a commanding presence, and he's smart, he has a sharp wit, and he's quick to temper. But more than anything, he is with all that wildness, he is a man who is about the book, about upholding the traditions and the values and the customs of the tribe. He fiercely protects them and their way of life. And that's hugely important to him. He also has a son who has such a deep-seated love for his son. And that kind of tears him apart because his son is not really who he wanted him to be.
I would say live action is full of surprises. Whereas animation, everything is you're planning it and you're executing it in kind of a glacial pace over the course of many years. But very, very infrequently do you get a chance to improvise and to have spontaneity in the room, except for when you're with actors. That's true of animation, but when you're in live action, it's all about that. It's about the happy surprises that are just present every day. Because you have actors that are coming to you with ideas, it changes the way the scene plays out physically, it changes the spaces between dialogue and how moments are processed and whether dialogue is even necessary. The whole thing becomes a conversation, and it's flowing, and it's really fascinating and interesting. I loved being part of it because you have a sense of time is wasting, and you have to get a certain number of shots done a day. But otherwise the set just won't be there, but at the same time, there's magic happening around you, and someone might have a really great idea about what to do with a camera, and then the actors might have a really great idea about how to play something differently than the way it was scripted. And your job as director is just sort of to be responsive, to take it all in, but also have a sense of what the story's about and what's important and keep driving it forward.
Stoick just sees that he's not the kid that Stoick wants him to be. He's not following in this line of great warriors, following the forefathers, protecting the traditions, being respected, revered by the rest of the tribe.
So we reimagined Toothless as kind of a ghost in the Viking world. No one had ever seen one. You hear it coming. It has a very distinctive sound. It has a very distinctive attack. And the destruction is always devastating. But the only real glimpse that you get of the dragon is how it blots out stars when it flies across the night sky. We wanted to kind of create this sense of anticipation for what this creature would look like. And then when Hiccup comes across him in the woods, the idea was that he would come across a dragon that's impressive, it's black, it's shiny, it's scaly, it looks really powerful, and yet it's instead of the other dragons, which are very much based on reptiles, we wanted to go with the idea that this was more mammalian. It was based on a black panther, and so it had an elegance to it. So all of those considerations went into it. We wanted it to seem powerful and elegant and different from the other dragons in terms of its design. And also, we wanted people to see their pets in Toothless. We wanted all the cues to be there. We wanted people to be able to look at the live action version of Toothless and say, that's him, but he's real.
Natural, raw talent just shines through him. So I was doing these scenes going, oh, wow. I knew he was good, and I knew he had to be good to get the role, but then I'm doing these scenes like, oh, wow, this gets good. This gets good. If you say, what is the advantage of live action? It's things like that. Getting to see a fresh take on Hiccup with a brilliant actor who can really represent Hiccup, and we get that coming of age story, we get his challenges, we get his cockiness and humor and his oddball kind of weirdness, but still trying his best to, how you, like you say, how does Hiccup fit in this tribe, and how does he become cool in front of his friends, but how does he also stick to who he thinks he is and what he knows he has to offer? How does he do that in the eyes of his father?
He completely got the character because he grew up with How to Train Your Dragon. He's got a lot of physical attributes that the 𝘧𝘢𝘅𝘁 Hiccup would not have had. But I think he still managed to communicate sort of a sense of insecurity, a sense of yearning for acceptance, and also the humor that comes along with that. He's such an obvious choice for somebody who needs to be big and brash and commanding. He does that with ease and a sense of sort of larger than life caricature. But it's those tender moments that are really disarming and surprising, where I feel like he brings himself to a point of tears and vulnerability that is so convincing, I think, for parents in the audience and also kids. But I think that he was able to find a place where he could really pull out an honest, tender, heartbreaking rendition of a father who's struggling to understand his son, who has the best of intention for him, but just doesn't see the kid who's in front of him as somebody he can relate to.
I would always think, I kind of wish I was actually in those worlds myself, experiencing that, seeing the dragons in this Viking village, in that great hall, on that Viking ship out going towards the Dragon Island. And now I had the opportunity to do that, to live and breathe Stoick, and to fight those dragons for real, and to look in the eyes of my son and experience so many emotions and feel that so truthfully, and know that that's a whole new How to Train Your Dragon that we're bringing to the world.